Hey guys, this is Idiovia, and today I'm actually going to bring you a Terran versus Protoss strategy for all our guys that are on the ladder and wanting to basically roll over Protoss, to be honest, with this build. It is a one base play, so if you don't pull it off, you're pretty much screwed, but obviously the rewards of playing one base plays is that you get out a shitload of units, and it destroys any form of greed that the opponent can do, and it's really strong, of course. So the game will be that I just recently played on Antigua Shipyard, and let's just quickly get into it. Over there, if I press the button, there we go, overlay. And I'll be playing the Terran, of course, and the Protoss will be on the other team. Now, before I even click the button over here, the reason why this is such a strong build is because it basically counters most things, and of course it is, as Terran race needs to be, a timing push. So without further ado, let's get this rolling for you guys. I'll press the play button. Now, how you open with this build is exactly how you open with every other single Terran game that you play. You go 10 supply, or should I say you carry on building SCVs until you get your 10 supply, and then you put your supply depot, which hopefully you shall see me do soon, at your ramp, because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be teching in this actual build itself. So you don't want to give Protoss the ability to actually see what's in your base, so you want to be walling off, especially with Protosses. Good Protosses, they like to poke your ramp with a couple of stalkers, and if you've got nothing over there, it's going to be a bit troublesome. But yeah, so there we go, there's the SCV just making his way down to the beautiful ramp. Now this particular build is actually very strong against Protoss. You can use it against other races as well, but it doesn't work as well as what it could. Maybe Zerg with their new Roach play. But going back to my point, on Antigua Shipyard, it favors Terran so much because of the way that the bases are structured and the fact that you're going to be getting siege tanks. So as you can see, supply depots down, 12 supply, you get yourself a factory, and all good. You just carry on building SCVs. Just make sure you constantly keep on building SCVs, guys. It's so important to collect the minerals over here. There we go, gas going down at 13. So your opening, like I said, is 10, 12 and 13. 10 supply, 12 barracks, 13 gas refinery. You need that gas for all the juicy stuff that it gives you. In other words, tech. So at this point in time, there's nothing really going on in the game. There's no need for anybody to say, okay, he's going this, or he's doing that. So it's just a case of making sure that you get this build on time, make sure that you supply your orbital command at 15, and precisely when your barracks finishes. Like, that should be a very good time gauge when, if your build is on or off, is whether or not your your barracks finishes and you have enough money to build your orbital command, and you should line it up completely. Now, I don't actually favor scouting with this build early on, simply because of the fact that you need a lot of minerals, obviously, to pull this off. So it's a case where I prefer to scout once I've actually got my second supply depot up. As you can see over there, I've walled it myself in, and then I'll go and scout just to make sure that there is no shenanigans going on from the actual Protoss player as well. I'm just going to quickly pause over here for you, just for 2 seconds, and say, so once your barracks is done, you produce a marine, of course, get your orbital command, put your mules on the closest mineral patch, of course, and once your second supply depot is done, which you build after you've actually got your orbital command, you take the SCV, literally, and you build a factory straight afterwards, okay? And obviously with the factory comes the second gas, okay? Because it's a teching build, so therefore it requires a lot of gas, okay? So as you can see over there, both of the things have gone down for me. The scout's gone into my opponent's base. Nothing untoward. He's got a zealot first, which means that obviously, well, actually I don't know what that means, to be honest, with most Protoss players. All I know is that because he's got that, he's going to be delayed on the stalk, which gives me good time to get out you know, my bunker, etc, and I know there's going to be no quick poke. Now, what usually happens in this particular instance with the scout that you have is to actually look at the timing of when that stalker comes out. If he skipped the zealot, went for the stalker, you need to put down a bunker ASAP while you're there. But in this particular instance, he did not have that stalker, which meant that I could actually return home with the SCV, okay, and build the bunker, because I know by the time the bunker's finished, the stalker will be there. Now, while that was going on, as you can see, I've actually got a starport now building as well, so I'm just going to back it up quickly, just a couple of minutes, and just talk about that. Just a little bit more. Just before. Okay, so there's the factory down. All goodness is there. As soon as the factory's getting done, you actually build your starport straight off through. It's like literally that SCV builds the starport. Okay. As you can see, I've saturated my gas. Please don't get supply blocked. It's really important that you constantly, in fact, actually dedicate one SCV to just keep on building supply depots. So, bunker goes up. 3 Marines is your key. As soon as you've got 3 Marines, you get yourself a reactor on your barracks. Make sure you've got the tech lab on the factory as well. Try and get that as early as possible so you can do the switch, because you're going to be getting those lovely banshees. So,
microphone muted.
Everything is hunky-dory at this stage, and there's going to be an annoying sound from TS now, constantly there, telling me that the microphone's there. So I'm just going to unmute that. Now, as you can see over here, I've actually moved my barracks away. I don't particularly want the guy to be seeing what tech I'm going, so therefore I'm going to be putting my bunker there, and moving my barracks away, and then having the Protoss player to play in the dark, or forcing him to get a robo bay. Now, you can see over here, I did the switch. My factory's built the tech lab, so I don't have to worry about the extra 55 seconds or so that the tech lab needs to build on the starport. I can get my Banshee out straight away. And you can see my money at this stage. I've actually got enough money to build the Banshee, as well as keep on constantly producing the Marines, which is so necessary in this composition. So there's the factory, there goes the beautiful Marines in the bunker. This Protoss player, I don't actually think sends the stalker to go poke, but it's not a problem, because in my particular instance the bunker's down. So now you can see over here, this build's actually unfolding quite nicely over here. All the 3 building production facilities are now up. You don't need any more. You've got factory for tanks, Banshee for the starports for the Banshee, and of course the lovely juicy Marines. So just send out another scout. Now, what I like to do as well in this particular instance, and the timings land up to be quite perfect actually, once your bunker's built, send him back to the Protoss' base. And what you want to be doing is establishing whether or not your Protoss is actually doing a 1-base play. And if he is doing 1-base play, this build's going to be a little bit more micro-intensive, because he's obviously going to have a lot more units out. But if he's going for the expansion, you should just smile all the way, because this absolutely decimates the expansion. The only trick is to make sure that your attack is at the point where his expansion just coming up, so it doesn't actually have any units to counter it. Now, he has got an observer in my base at this particular instance, so he's seeing everything that's going on over here, which is fine by me to a certain degree, because at some point they're going to see what's happening in your base, and if he doesn't go for a robo play, then you know you're in a good position as well, because this composition actually destroys the other builds. So there we go, building the Banshees, constant Marine production, making sure that the Banshees are coming out, and also the tanks. Make sure that you just get these 3. That's all you need to do. And if you've got the APM for it, you can use this Banshee to harass. No need for cloak. All you want to do is just keep the Protoss in his base, making sure that he's producing stalkers, because stalkers die easily to tanks. And it just keeps him in his base going, right, I can't leave my mineral line, blah 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 blah, as opposed to keeping them at, for instance, the Naga Watchtower. So it's a good thing to do, and just make sure that you don't lose your Banshee in this situation, because it's important. You need it for when you actually attack. And as you can see over here, the building, the production is perfectly fine. I'm getting out my tanks, my Marines are coming out, as well as the Banshee. Now, the trick with this particular build is to not actually get siege mode straight away. Okay, it's important to make sure that is something you don't do straight away. 3 tanks, when you're building your 3rd tank, is when you actually get your siege mode. In fact, most of the time, just about before you're actually about to push out, you should get siege mode, because by the time that you actually get to the guy's base, you should have siege mode, because it doesn't take that long to research, and you get to pump out a lot more units, which in any case will be beneficial for yourself. So as you can see, the build's now ready and done. I've got my 3 Banshees out and 3 tanks. If you can choose to move out with 4 of a kind, it's completely fine by you, but usually this timing push needs to take place between 9 and 10 minutes. And it's really important that you actually push out at that stage, simply because of the fact that the guy's not going to have too much if he expands, and with 10-minute timing pushes with Terran, it's really, really strong. Okay, so as you can see over here, the beauty of this build, especially on this map, like I said to you before, is that if you have a look, I've actually taken out both of his pylons for absolutely nothing, which means that now he's lower on supply. He did take an expansion, so he's got the Nexus out, but that doesn't matter because at the end of the day, his units aren't going to be as high because of the expansion. But in case, obviously, that he didn't do any, pardon me, if he did do one base play, that would definitely put him in a position where he wasn't able to actually warp in units again because of the supply block potential, at least. 90% of the time it's probably going to be the case. Now, if you have a look over here, the tank position is actually quite important with this. You don't want them to be in the range of his units. You want them to be as far away as possible, but just in range for them to shell the shit out of everything. Your Banshees are going to be the ones that are spotting, and the Marines are just there for cannon fodder. Like, that is their job. And 90% of the time, if you micro this correctly, you can actually, if you lose your Banshees and your tanks, which is not supposed to be the case, but if you do, because they're high priority units, people are going to target them instead. Stutter Step micro with Marines, with the amount that you got, just destroys anything anyway, and it kills observers, as you can see over here, just so easily. So, once again, when you push out with this over here, making sure that you're putting your tanks in good positions to take out any vulnerable and, should I say, pylons, fringe pylons, that's the word I'm looking for. So, good stuff over here. Banshee's now harassing, and he can't do anything with these Stalkers because you can see over here, he's like, okay, well, let me come to attack the Banshees. Oh, boom, there goes the tanks. So he's like, well, I'm kind of screwed. And in this particular instance, it's now just up to you and how you feel the game's going. If you, in this particular instance, I destroyed everything around the edges over there, so it means I had to move in. But he was reluctant to move his rest of his force because he knew that those tanks were going to destroy it. So, another good point to note over here is that your marine control needs to be actually pretty impeccable, to be honest. I mean, there you saw what they like to do is they like to run into the base because you've clicked in it, just like I did over here. Just make sure that you control your marines, don't lose them, because they could be, well, they are going to be valuable in the beginning. And once again, microing in this particular instance is extremely important. I lost my tank over there, but it doesn't matter because I still got the Banshees plus the Marines, and they're doing so much damage. And look how far that tank is away from everything. He is just getting so many shots on everything over there and killing it. It's like that tank is just actually winning the battle for me along with all the other DPS units over here, but more so because the tank's living. Now, you can see now, in this particular instance, my opponent has actually got, as soon as he loses all this army over here, he's got nothing. He's got an expansion, fair enough, but he's got 2 gates and a robo, and that's about it, and no pylons at the end of his base, so he can't warp in or reinforce as well. With this particular build, and using it effectively, you will actually notice that because you only have 3 production facilities, your macro slips quite a lot. Especially in my case, you need to be really, really on top of your game to make sure that your money doesn't go through the roof. You can look, if you can see over here, I'm at 1,500 minerals. So that's the trick with this build. Make sure that you've got all these production facilities on a hotkey, and just make sure that you keep on reinforcing, because if you do come into a sticky spot and you do maybe lose a couple of units because of bad micro or bad positioning, at least you can reinforce quicker. Well, let me put it to you this way, you can reinforce and still keep the strength of the actual build itself while he's taking a lot of hits with regards to his pylons and whatever else you've managed to pick off in that particular instance, okay? So, really, really important to do that. But that's about it, to be honest. As you can see over here, I'm just going to let it play out and destroy his mortals. The mortals don't do anything, the tanks are too far away, the marines destroy the immortals, and that's it. He's got no units left, I've still got my whole army, and the Banshees are just, they're so lethal in this, as well as the Marines, of course, as well, and the tanks. So it counts as everything. It's a fantastic build. You guys should definitely use it, and I hope this video actually helped you guys out a lot. Thanks for watching.